and I like that analytical puzzle piece of like how we do it, and how many people we would need, and what the structure needs to look like in order to trigger. And I think we're at 22,000 in bonuses. So it's pretty cool. And I think what's also cool is it paves the path for others, right? To shake it off and go for it, because there's a clear path. Whereas before it was kind of like, come in, do your best. And there wasn't like this clear, concise roadmap. So I hope that's helpful. And I hope it's going to be really helpful for the team going into this new year.
Yeah, I think it's good, Jess. And just to like, for people also who are, for Andy, who's also very new, what I was really excited about that this team, which you did, was do it so quickly, right? So quickly. One person went to almost 10,000 very, very quickly. And when I heard it, I'm like, wow, this is really possible to do that. And especially at this time. So yeah, thank you so much for doing that and giving us a hint on how to, what the blueprint was, right? I mean, I'm really excited about that. So.
Well, and I think the first thing people think is, oh, this team must have a lot of experience in the industry, right? Is that probably something that you guys thought when you saw HIP's post?
Yeah.
And the people that were able to do leader, they obviously have industry experience, but the 70 plus people or 80, we'll have to log in and we can look at all their numbers. They've never had any success in network marketing. So most of them have never done it. And the ones that have never made more than $500. And so I think that's really, really cool. And a lot of the people we've attracted, and this is another thing in this industry, right? We think it's tapped out, right? Sometimes like we have all these like, oh gosh, this person, probably isn't interested. He's probably been approached a million times. And I will say there was a team that came on board that had never done network marketing, but said, our good friends are top of the rank in doTERRA. They make $50,000 a month. We see how they live. We've been watching them for a while. We saw when they got into that company and why timing's important. And we were looking for that next thing. And of course, they're super passionate about mental wellness. And so him and his wife, although if you meet them, you would think that they would probably have been in some company before, they hadn't. And here they were like really looking. And so that was also a reminder of like, make sure you open your mouth, and you never know, because they're super successful too. 4 kids, she's homeschooling all of them. He's a medical sales rep or whatever. Like they just want more flexibility and freedom now. And they've watched people that they know in doTERRA and Isagenix make it to the top of and they're not interested in those companies, right? So remember that, as especially right now. And so that's some of the background on it. And another thing I want you guys to be able to speak to, because we did a lot of this in the presenting that we did on a weekly basis, and I'll lay out what we actually did in terms of activities too. But I want you guys to and we don't talk a lot about money, right? We really don't, and we don't post about it because, we don't want to get flagged by the FTC for making income claims. So we just have to be kind of careful. But, when you look at doTERRA, and I'm just going to keep going back to that company because Rich comes from doTERRA. We all have experience with doTERRA at some level. And our compensation plan is very similar to doTERRA, right? And there's a good reminder in there that there are about 200, right, of the top 2 ranks total. So Blue Diamond, Presidential Diamond, right? And, we're on that same trajectory. We're actually, year after year, we've outpaced their growth, right? So in 7 years or sooner, we should be $1 billion company with 200 people, 200 slots, right? And when I think about that, and I think about only 3 of those slots are taken, that's another thing to just remember, right? There's room for like 200 of us, to get to that 50 to 100 or more thousand a month income. So we really spoke to that as well as we shifted our mindset this month or last month into total business mode. And it's actually been really fun, right? It's been really fun to help. So 9 of those people earned over $1,000. So, 9 of the team members. So we'll break that all down. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of background. The other thing I wanted to share is that nobody on the team, and Anna-Marie might not want me to share this, but I just have to share it because I think we get distracted. 0 people posted on Facebook. So, that is also really, really, it's a good reminder that you can still build this business through relationships and through picking up the phone and inviting people to Zoom. That's all we did. That's it. Phone, Zoom, right? And it just reminded me, that there can be a balance, right? And they did it all old school. So it's just, all of this was a good reminder.
Yeah, actually, Jess, I love that, and I love that how they did that, and I do believe in social media, that, and I think we should do social media, but at the same time, picking up that phone, I mean, we don't do it enough, so I love that that's how they did it.
And so I'll just break down what this looked like. So they landed somewhere around 30,000 in volume in 31 days. And we had a leader, which is 25,000 in volume. And we had 1 platinum, which is 15,000 in volume. We had 6 silvers, which is 5,000 in volume, 6 of them. And then 1 bronze, which is 3,000. So that's how we structured it to maximize the compensation plan. And a lot of these key people, when, on day 1, when we had spent the week before mapping it all out in spreadsheets. So for those of you who like data, like I do, we'll look at that briefly, but we spent some real serious time mapping this out. And on day 1, he had people ready to go to make silver, and that was the core group. And besides the core group, that was the whole thing. Every one of those people went out and did what they needed to do. And one of them, who ended up being the platinum, which is huge also in your first month, she broke out 3 silvers. So she helped her team, 3 families, generate 6 months of $1,000 a month guaranteed income, and then created about $5,000 of income for herself. So this is the one that's never had any success. And yeah, it was really cool to watch her back office go. And again, like, she worked through people, and that was also a really good reminder. So she had a few key people that came on with her, 3 that came on with her at the very beginning on that first day that she had talked to that week before, right? And then she worked through their networks. So that's how she ended up enrolling 29 wellness partners last month. And she did that all with 3 people and their network. So again, why I'm saying this is because it's just a really good reminder that we can all do that too, and that's network marketing. I mean, that's like real network marketing, right? That's what the words mean. And so, yeah, it really kind of opened my eyes to, we can do a combination of online strategies and that sort of thing, but the warm market still works too, right? And to find people who find people, right? So, those people opened up, their network to her, and had some conversations, and then asked if her name is Jay, if Jay could give them a call and talk to them further. And that was the whole thing. So, so I'm just I wanted to share with you guys, exactly when you look under the hood, what it was we did. And then on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Hawaii time, we did an opportunity presentation for 45 minutes. And then we took a bathroom break, and then we did new wellness partner training for those who came on board. And another thing that was really interesting, the leader of this team, he specifically does it on Sunday mornings for a reason, because of course everyone's like, that's crazy, that's a church day, right? And he was like, no, if they're serious and they show up, I'll know for sure if they're serious if they show up on a Sunday at 9 a.m. and I know I'm going to want to work with them. So I was like, that's an interesting strategy. The Zooms were packed every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. I was just like, okay, so he was like, if it's important enough to them and they see the value and the timing and the ability to get in during this timing, and they forego, church, or maybe go to a later service, then I know they're serious and I want to work with them. So talk about filtering.
Yeah, I love that. That's
yeah. So again, that's all we did in terms of activities. They hustled and they reached out to their entire networks and asked for referrals. Who do you know? Who do you know? And it was just that over and over again. And they were really good at positioning the timing. And so that's what we all need to be good at, right? And that's what, we're trying to do a lot of like wording around, and timing. And then knowing that there's about 200 spots where people are going to be making $50,000 to $1,000 a month, if not more. And 3 of them are filled. So for those who have network marketing experience, that's a true statement. And that will happen in the next, 3 years. So yeah.
Yeah, when you talk about timing, is it just the same way as we always talk, right? We're 2.5 years in and we need to get our tipping point still and things like that. Is that the timing conversation that you had with them?
Yeah. So, we're coming out of our startup phase, and that's usually like the first 3 years of a company. And most companies go out of business before that, right? And they're not well funded. They're disorganized. They're all these things. And of course, we knew that we were the least risk startup because we have endless funding and some of the best, executive team in the industry, right? So we knew that we weren't really a risky startup. But anyways, people who are evaluating look at that. And they look at, we're going to wait and see if you make it through the first 3 years. And so now that we're through that, and in fact, it's not going to be 3 years until the first of the year, but we pre-launched this day 3 years ago, right? We pre-launched September 1st, 2017. And so we had a little bit of a pre-launch phase before we went to, anyway. So we're out of the startup. We're about to go into this momentum and growth period. And yeah, and I'll share the slides that I walk people through when we're talking about this timing. And it is the exact same slide deck I do when you tag somebody in the announcement post of Mental Wellness Revolution. So when somebody is like, what are you doing? It's the same slide deck. The slide deck is out in our Dropbox. This isn't like something special. It's the same one I've used this whole time. Of course, I've updated it, right, with the new rank advancement stuff. And so again, I think people are thinking they're missing something, right? There's some secret, and there's not. Like this, this is it, right? This is what we did. And let me share real quick. So yeah, this is just that exact same presentation. We talk a little bit about market size, right? This is just, this slide isn't all of the things and how this is positioned to be $1 trillion industry. So I definitely stop here. I talk about that. And then at the end, we go into timing again, where it's like right place, right time, right? So I'm going to position this as this only happens once. And Pat is so good at explaining that, right? It reminds me of surfing, right? It's like, yeah, there's specific places where you want to be in the wave when it's coming at you, and like, this is exactly where we want to be. And so if we're right here at this little heart, and this tipping point happens here where we go into massive momentum and explosive growth, you want this growth to be in your organization. I want this growth to be in your organization. I want to see you and your family, benefiting from this. So that's happening with or without us. And it's just a matter of where we want to be in front of this. And so I share that. And then I also share that this slide is Rich, right? So Rich was instrumental in taking doTERRA to $1 billion in 7 years. And that's what this looks like. Only Apple and doTERRA have done that in that amount of time. And that we are already outpacing this for the first 3 years. And that Rich left doTERRA and equity stake in doTERRA to come start this company. And so and what I love about Rich too, is he's also instrumental in taking doTERRA international. So that's another big, selling point, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but like opening the international markets excite me, traveling with you, Amare, to Amsterdam excites me. And with you, Megan, yeah, Dubai, right? Didn't you used to live there? Yeah. Okay, and so it's just that. That's all. You guys can look at this slide deck. We did this every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Hawaii time, bathroom break, and then team training from 10 to 11. And that was where we onboarded everybody. And then this also has this slide here. So I definitely highlight this and what, you know, separates our team. And now I'm going to update this. I'm going to update this to, you know, all the records that were just broken this past month, and really highlight that. And you guys can obviously, this is a story of our entire team. And so I want you to be able to show what's possible, even if we didn't do it ourselves. Somebody in our team just did, and we know how they did it. And so I want to like instill that in everybody. So we'll probably update this slide to incorporate that, but that's it. You guys have seen all of these slides before, every presentation. So any questions on that? Is this helpful?
I can get that in Amare Builder, or right?
This slide deck is in our team Dropbox. I will drop the link in it in Anna Marie's chat when we are done, just so you guys have access to it again.
Thank you.
And again, like there's not a lot of times where I do, this is like a specific instance where I would do this, but 9 times out of 10, we're just referring people to the Amare live events and they're happening for us, right? So in this one case, you know, he wanted this one time slot for a very specific reason, but guess what? They also invited like 100 people to Amare Live, right? So we were using we're using all the things that are already in place. So no need to reinvent the wheel in terms of doing your own presentations. If you're new, especially, just have people plug in to Amare Live, which is next week coming up already. It's already. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing.
So Jess, from all your experience, I'm curious, because I would love to replicate this. And we're September 1st, right? We're really just September 1st. So we can definitely do it as well. And so they sold a lot of launch packs, right? They did a meeting every week, and then they had a mindset about this is the timing to do it, right? Would you say that were the 3 components? Is there anything else that you can come up with, or that you saw?
Yeah, and I yes, all of those things. And let me open up our projection. So again, I told you that this wasn't like something that we hoped for. It's something that we very meticulously planned out, and there was a reason for it. He wanted to say that he made $10,000 in his first month, right? That was the story he wanted to be able to share with other people that he's attracting, and that he was wanting his team to make 10,000. So a total of 20,000. So we had talked about that, and we mapped out the plan for him to make 10,000, but we really didn't know where the team was going to land, right? Because there's so many factors around that, because, you know, you can control what you enroll, and then, you know, we kind of like, you know, we know who's enrolled somebody, and then, you know, they kind of fell off or decided they didn't want to do it, or, you know, that sort of thing. So you can't really project what your team's going to do. So, but it worked out that everybody stepped up, and they all got really inspired by what they were doing. So a couple of them will be on the trip, right? There'll be 4 of them on the trip, and they made it in 1 month. Wow. Yeah. One might even be in the top 20 and knock Derek and Stacy out. But Anna Marie's in the top 20. That's amazing. I just re-saw you there when I was looking. I was like, oh my gosh, so fun.
I was 20 last year. This time I'm 11th. I'm not going to be knocked out anymore. I was like, okay, I'm good.
That's going to be a fun trip. Okay, so let me show you how we did this. And so this isn't going to be super intuitive, but what we did is we accounted for some variables, right? So we had a building block of PV that we wanted people who were serious about coming in and building out this team to come in with. And that actually is a 500 PV block. It's not a launch pack. It's a launch pack plus now because Harrison wants all of the team to have all of the products, right? So we add on digestive, probiotics, omega, and hemp. And that rounds out the launch pack plus that we put together. So a lot of people came on with that. And then there were a lot of people for, you know, personal reasons that didn't. So in fact, Megan, gosh, I'm sure there's some overlap in LAIE with this and you. And so I was like, I wanted to pull you in and kind of get you back into that mix there, because yeah, there was some overlap. They didn't want hemp GBX. So not everybody came in with the whole thing, but that was cool. So we assumed a 500 PV entry point. And then we calculated this out with a minimum of 200 in volume going forward for everybody that came into the organization. So again, you know, Harrison does have experience in this. And so, you know, there's, yeah, everybody is kind of required to do this. I mean, nobody's required, but that just helps everybody be able to calculate or project income, right? And, you know, I don't know, I do 200 a month. So yeah, I can see where if you're serious in using the products, you might do that. So that's the two things here. So we calculated, and this is what's really interesting. And I think if you find some people that have any sort of entrepreneurial spirit, you know, that sort of thing, they're going to look at this and say, this is no big deal. So we had a number of 30 that he was going to personally enroll. And he didn't get there at all, which is really interesting. We have to go back and count how many he did. It ended up being more the team. But this is how we calculated it out. Okay, so 30 he was going to enroll. And if we trained one other person to do it alongside him. So this assumes him enrolling 30 with a duplication factor of 1, which means him and one other person doing the exact same thing. So this is pretty much lockstep on where we ended up, because we ended up somewhere around 70 something, 80 something enrollment. So it's actually a little bit, there's some customers that came in, right? Of course, not everybody came in with a launch pack, but we didn't stop until we got 60 in the whole team. So that's where the 30,000 in volume comes in. And here's where we get to project. And if you guys have any questions on this, let me know.
How many people were involved? Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's a great question. So how many people were involved from the very beginning?
I guess, yeah, from the beginning.
So on day 1, I think there was Harrison and 3 people. Harrison and 4 people. That's it. And one of those people had 3 people that she had already talked to the week before. So that on day 1, I think it was I don't know if it was a Saturday or a Sunday that August 1st was, but on day 1, when we quote launched the team, we had a silver. They were a silver that day. So divide 500 by 5,000, and how many is that? We were up at 4 in the morning closing out the month, so I am not like my brain to calculate things is not working anymore.
With the silver? The silver, you need about 10 launch packs.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, you're right. So it must have been around 10 that they brought in on that day 1. And again, like they planned it 2 weeks in advance, right? They were talking to people, they were getting their ducks in a row. So yeah, it must have been somewhere around there. And then some of them ordered more than 500 too. So, okay. So this allows us to project, right? So you and 30 and one other person that is duplicating you. And here we go. This spreadsheet calculates all your bonuses and you're sitting at 10,000 in your first month. So this is almost to we'll have to see when they run the final commission numbers, but this is almost to the penny of what their recap was for their personal. So they were close to 10,000 on their own. Actually, I think they might have actually placed a little bit of an order to get to that exact 10,000 mark. It's kind of funny. They were really specific about wanting to be there. But they didn't buy in. So, you know, that's another thing that people probably assume. And that didn't happen. It was really interesting. These are all new people. Okay, so month 2, right? So if we follow the same trajectory, right? You are doing 30, you have one person duplicating you doing 30 or 30 team, right? So it could be spanned across the team. Then you can see your income over 12 months. So, you know, it is 9,000, 16,000, 14,000, you know, 17,000, 18,000, 21, all the way, you know, let's see, yeah, to, they land around servant leader here. So that's a 2 plus 50,000 in extra bonuses. That's a 205,000 year. So this is actually at the low end. Their goals are much higher now than just doing this now. But this was a calculation that we actually did to kind of show the possibility, because this is doable, right? They changed some of the projections for themselves. But this is like the baseline that is considered easy to them. So this is what we share with the team, right? You know, theirs are like, yeah, they're at 4 heart servant leader in a year, yeah, on theirs. So that's the projection, and this took us, while the spreadsheet might not look like it's complicated, this took us a really long time to figure out, you know, because all of these bonuses are contingent on various things. And then, yeah. Is this helpful?
Yeah, no, this is very helpful. I actually liked how you all mapped it out. And
Yeah.
and of course you can go above that, right? Easily, but because you kind of assumed that you went from 60 to 120, like 60 every single month. And I think that's probably not, that's gonna be more than 60, right? Most likely.
For them, yeah. I think when we actually did it here, what did we have? So this is a different projection.
I mean, if you enroll 60 the first month and then assume that everybody's gonna enroll, right, another person, that's
yeah. Right. So, you know, out of this group, and I'll just share this, you know, there's some awesome wellness partners that came on board. You know, they're definitely going to have success at some level, but out of that whole group, there was two that I think could actually do this. Right. So, you know, keep that in mind too. And, you know, you just never know who those people are going to be, but there's 2 people. And the one was the girl who did the 29 launch packs in 31 days. And so she can obviously do this, right? And then there was one other person. So you got to think with, so we can multiply this out. So say it's Harrison and the one person who did platinum and the one other guy that I'm thinking of, right? So that would be a multiplier of 2. So let's recalculate if just those 2 people were able to duplicate out. So let's do that. Okay. So you see how now we've gone up. Gosh, they're almost at 4 heart servant leader here. Just a little bit more.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we can play around with these numbers and kind of see. When the number he had me map out initially was him, I think it was him and 5 or something. Let's see what that came out with. Yeah, it was more like him and 5. So this is what they're going for.
That's the 5
yeah.
leader.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Them consistently enrolling 30 people and finding 5 people in this mix that want to run. And I will say, you know, now we're starting to speak to this because obviously, you know, as the month progressed, we had a little bit more of a story. And so the people that came onto those Zooms that got to hear the story and got to see this were like, oh, I can do this. Right? I have a big network. I can do this. I love sales. You know, things that you just that you want to hear from people that you just never hear, right? Like people that could see this and say, this is nothing, you know? So I was like, that's interesting. So we know this is a lot of work, but it's also treating this as a business. So many people, when I first came into network marketing, you know, I left a career on Wall Street and I was kind of flailing around, right? Because I didn't really have structure. I didn't really understand this business and how you have to treat it like a business. So now, you know, 11 years later, and then going through this over the last, you know, 6 weeks, it's definitely shifted my whole energy into, you know, this isn't something that happens by chance. It is something that you map out and then you do, right? So everybody knew what they wanted before we started on the first. And then there was no like, what do I need to do to make this rank? It was, they knew exactly how many people they needed to enroll to get to $1,000 a month, to get to $2,000 a month, to get to those sorts of numbers. So again, you know, if we treat this like a business and just map it out, and then you have your count, and then you don't stop. And I'm not saying you, not every, you just in general, for somebody who wants this, then we don't stop until we do it. And I will say that they were even going to push farther last night. So once we started to see how close some of these other people were to ranks, we had two of the silvers that were, you know, like maybe 500 or 600 away from gold. We almost like went in way into today, but I think we're gonna leave it for this month. So map out a plan and then do it. And there's no, the way he leads his team is there's no room for excuses. And so he definitely treats it like a business. And but then his people get results though, right? Because people come into this because they don't want to go back to a job. Maybe they want the time and freedom and the flexibility and the residual income, right? But they don't have a plan on how to get there. So you guys now have this really special blueprint that everybody's asking for. And it's just, we're gonna support all of you who want this. And we, even if you don't want it, of course, we're gonna support you too. But I was so excited when Amare asked me to come on, because this has been so helpful for me, even just to map it out, right? If you don't know your numbers, then like, what are we doing all month, right? So I hope this was helpful for you too. And so, okay, so maybe and here's the other thing. Okay, maybe you get one person, right? And you enroll 15, which is a huge amount too, right? So what does that look like? So we can play around with this calculation. It's still a lot. Oh no, this $3,000 bonus isn't in there. So if you did 15 launch packs and one other person that on your team, or a total of 15 across the team, that's $4,000 a month. So that's good too, right? So how do we help somebody make $4,000 to $5,000 a month? It doesn't have to be 10,000, right? It could be 2,000. It could be 1,000. And so again, whatever it is that you're looking to get out of this, whatever income you need to make this work, because I know so many of us come into this business and they want it to be a full-time income, but then they don't treat it like a job, right? And not that it has to be a job, but they don't treat it like a business. And so this helps at least give you a roadmap to lay it out for you. And then, you know, and then if you don't meet the goals, then you know you just didn't meet the goals, and that it's still available to you. So this, what I also love about this is when people come in and they say they're not successful in network marketing, and then you ask them, you know, well, tell me more about your experience. And, you know, they never showed up to a team call. They didn't reach out to any, you know, they didn't do anything. And so this helps keep people honest, right? Helps keep myself honest. This isn't like an honesty test for anybody, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, if I know I want to enroll 30 people, then that's how many reach outs and social media posts and lives do I need to do? There's no answer. It's until, right? Until we get the amount of enrollments that we want. So this was a nice kick in Hawaii, we call it okole. And I was like, oh yeah, it's just this. And every single one of us can have one of those 197 spots that are left in the company to make real income to impact change.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's so true.
Who's excited?
Awesome, Jess. Thank you. So cool.
Now, yeah. Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
Jeannie, hi. Debbie, hi. Yay, it's so nice to see both of you on. Marcia, hi. Yeah.
I'm going to make fun of you guys ultimately if you want to do it this month, right, guys? I mean, you know this is coming. So I want to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to do it. But if you're interested, I would love to hear it. I mean, you can text me or you can say now whatever you want to do. But I really feel like this is the time. When I heard this from Jess, I really got excited. I'm like, because we think we have time. And I love Jess that 200 spots kind of idea, because we don't. I mean, we really are getting to a point where that really sharp increase is coming. And we're either having a team at that point or we don't. And when you have a team at that point, you're gonna go like crazy if you don't, right? Even beyond any of the predictions that you could make there. Let's just face it. So I don't know.
And so I just want to preface this. I love all that. Yes, yes, yes. And it can just be, what is your monthly income number that you want, right? If you're comfortable throwing that in the chat, I will throw back to you the number of enrollments that you need to do, right? So again, you know, 10,000 a month, I think is like optimal for all of us, right? Wouldn't that be like a nice starting point? It definitely makes life easier. I'll share that, right? You know, it's like, it just frees everything up. It helps with your mental health, but it doesn't have to be your number doesn't have to be 10,000 either. You know, you might be here because you're looking for 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. So
10,000 is about 30 people. Is that it?
30 personal, 30 team. And then, and again, yeah, I need to go back and do some some reconnaissance in his back office to see how we let go of a lot of enrollments to rank people up, right? There is a lot that was happening. So I need to go back and see exactly how many personal enrollments he had. And just so we have some numbers around that, because again, it didn't end up exactly like we said, right? There's some configuration of it. And then the other encouraging thing, you all, is like, that was one team. And that was 30,000 new volume that came into the team in 1 month, right? And now there's 2 other people that are like, we're gonna do this exact same thing this month. And he's doing it again. So I wouldn't be surprised if they teetered on executive leader next month, you know? And so it's possible. And I think that sometimes we just need to be shown the path, and it just showing and proving, at least to myself, that we were able to do this has been a confidence booster. And I hope that you guys feel that and can take some of it too, because it broke all the records in Amare, and that's our team, right? It broke all the records.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, woohoo! All right.
All right. Well, anybody want to say now, or we have to do it later? Because I'm going for this. It's fun. I think it's really fun because we're also making a big impact, right? Let's not forget that. In terms of mental health and mental wellness, I love it.
Yeah, this presentation, or this kind of like you know, conversation, assumes that you're super passionate about this space, right? And everybody that comes into this that really wants to run sees the timing. And that's just, it's good to rehear over and over again. What do you mean? Like, nobody's done this before. This is so needed in our world. That's what we heard over and over again when we talk to people. We're like, yes, and here we are. You ready? You know, so that was a fun conversation. So again, like, throw in your number. If it's not 10,000, if it's 10,000, don't throw in a number. Then we know you're in for 10,000. And if you want a different number, then we can help you map that out too. Because again, super exciting.
Takes a little courage, guys, to actually say it, to actually write it down. I think it takes courage, but.
And also, like, you know, putting it into writing, getting it out of your head and onto paper, you know, saying it out loud, call that what you will, but that creates the intention, you know. 10,000, woo! Megan, I love it. I would love to see you at 10,000.
You're waiting for me to answer, right? I mean, like, I'm just starting out, so I feel like I don't want to overextend something that I just don't feel, you know, maybe I can do half. Okay.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Half is an amazing goal, right? And so again, then you ask, what are the activities, right, to get you there? It's connecting until there's no end. It's until you reach your enrollment goal. And so that's just a great reminder, right? It's like, you know, Like how many conversations are you going to have? How many referrals are you going to ask for? How many connections are you going to make on social media? How many posts you're going to make on social media? I have been doing a series of lives on my Facebook feed. I've gotten a lot of private messages, you know, so it's like, I'm doing a combination of all of these things, right? I'm reaching out to personal people again, because again, I'm going back to people that I know are big players, that I have a lot of respect for, that are go-getters. And I'm just saying, hey, you know, now is the time. I really think you owe it to yourself to take a serious look at this.
Well, and I think what I actually love about this also for Andrea as well, because and you have a lot of contacts. You really do have a lot of contacts, right? And we talked about not necessarily want to do social media, but just the app and just do the app and calling people. I love what they did here, and I do think there's a power to actually verbally talking to people. And I am going to do some of these meetings as well, and hopefully Jess will join us for some of it, and otherwise we can do them as well. But is to do some of these meetings, right? And to get people on there, because I do think it's a powerful way of saying, come to the meeting, sign up, and then we'll onboard you, right? And right afterwards. I think that's a phenomenal model as well. So I want to set that up actually for this month. And I don't know if you guys have certain days that you really were like, this is the day for it. I would love to do it. I said to Jess already, maybe on Friday. I'm also willing to do it on Sunday or Saturday, whatever it is. But let me know, because I would love to set a time and a date that we can actually have and get some people on, right? And they can see what we're doing and they can hear what we're doing. And right, especially in the beginning, I would love to have your help, Jess, but I think soon we'll be able to do it ourselves too, right? And just get people on. And so, I don't know.
That's the thing. It's just getting people on, and you know, it really could be anything. If it's the right energy and the right people, it doesn't matter what we talk about, right? And that's kind of what, you know, because that's the same slide deck we've been doing this whole time. You know, sometimes you think, oh my gosh, you know, is that still resonating with people? Is it converting? Are people, you know, all those big questions. And then again, it was just a great reminder that we've been doing it all along. Like the same video, like I have to go back to the same one video that I shared at the very beginning of Amare, was the founding story, the 2017 founding story. And that doesn't resonate with everybody, but that is the only video I share to connect people with this mission. And I've only done one video this whole time. So, you know, you find that one thing that works, and everybody has their own, you know, video that they like, right? That one tells the whole story to me. And if somebody's going to get a spark in them, it's going to be, I feel, from that. So, you know, one video to get people to introduce them and then get them on the Zoom. And that's pretty much what they did. And so, you know, and then, okay, the other thing too is Harrison is 73. So his team is all young, but he's 73. And so there wasn't Facebook, there wasn't app sharing. It was him and a telephone and
wow.
The other team is the remaining team is much more our age. Well, maybe even younger. I don't know how old everybody is.
Yeah, I think I just need to research it more and read more, because I feel like I'm a little behind with going through everything. And I didn't actually see that whole slide that you were giving. I didn't actually watch it at all. I don't believe I was, where would I guess I have to go back and find it, or you're going to send it to me and I can read it all. But I don't believe I was introduced to it. But maybe individually, some of the slides I've seen before, but I didn't see the whole process.
You probably haven't seen it. It's in the mental wellness revolution in Facebook. It's a mental wellness revolution group. And we were just getting you onto Facebook. So I think that's part of it, right? But yeah, it's right in there. I would say though, I love, I mean, both for like Barbara is and for you as well, I love this idea about just calling people, sending them videos, and then getting them on a Zoom meeting like this, right? And then just coming in. I want to debunk, and I think Jess would agree with me, the idea that we need to know everything, right? Because we don't, right? I mean, this person didn't know anything. I mean, she just came in, right?
They didn't even have products in their body when they started to build. Yeah. You don't need to know anything product wise, because you can send somebody, you know, to Dr. Sean's talks, and you can also send a video. There's a video for each product. So do not be the product expert. Nobody needs product experts right now. People need people to show them how to make money. We're in like 40 million people unemployed, you know, and I can't, like, there's power in being able to show people how to create wealth for their families right now. That's where I think, yeah, I have strong opinions around that right now, just because, you know, I see a lot of people losing their jobs. People that even haven't lost their jobs are getting hours cut, right? Entire families are having to shift around by this. And you can either contract and budget and, you know, go under the turtle shell, or, you know, we can figure out ways to generate additional income for your family to fill in those gaps.
Mm-hmm.
That's your own stimulus check, right? I mean, six people now have $1,000 a month for 6 months on that team. 6, right? That's the stimulus that's not coming anymore. Like, where everyone's waiting for that. It's not coming, right? It might, I don't know, but at $1,200, you know, for 6 months, I don't know how long that lasted you guys, but yeah. So I don't know. We're just in a real opportunity right now to connect people with a really powerful mission where they can actually generate some real wealth for their families that they wouldn't be able to do outside of that from a job. And I know, because I worked in corporate for a very long time. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much, Jess, for coming on. We are going to have a meeting at 7. I think I'm going to do 7 o'clock on Friday, or if you want to talk about it and maybe another time, whatever works, we can talk about it and find a time. But if you're ready for this, then start this week. Just start inviting people. And so I want to almost get a meeting on the calendar. I don't know if you want to do that now, Jess, or another time, but I would love to get a meeting on the calendar this week so we can just start, because I think almost waiting. The following week we have Amare live, right, on Wednesday. So I think that's another good one that week.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to have one on the calendar this week. If you want to set one now or later, whatever works for you.
You were thinking Friday at 7?
Yeah, 7 our time, 6 o'clock your time. I don't know what I don't know. It's just something I came up with. We can maybe do earlier, later. Anybody else has any ideas, or what do you
Is
guys?
everybody on the West Coast? I mean, on the East Coast on the Zoom?
I think so. Yeah. Right?
A Friday might work, you know, with this whole new world we're living in. You know, before I would say no for a Friday Zoom. I can't think of anything. Oh, you're in Oklahoma. Okay, cool. But now it's probably people are home. I don't know.
Well, is there another time that you would suggest, Jess, or anybody else?
Well, I never thought a Sunday at 9 a.m. would be, you know, who am I to judge on times? It's just, who am I? When he said that, and then, you know, we have a whole bunch of other people that are supporting this effort as well. And everybody looked at each other like, oh my gosh, this is going to be my Sunday mornings now. That was really funny. And of course, for me, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's fine, you know, but that's kind of funny. Yeah, you know, you never know until you try it, right? And then the main thing is to really, you know, invite people and make sure that you're, you know, kind of prepping them for what to expect, right? I know there's a lot of conversation that went into getting people on that Zoom. It wasn't just, you know, this random invite to come check something out. Although with one of the guys, he had this network that, you know, every time we would do a Zoom, he would have a ton of people on. And I'd just be like, how did you get all these like really high, big influencer people? I mean, people with like 15,000 followers, you know, like how are you getting these people? And he's just like, you know, my community is really tight. And when, you know, one of us wants one of us to take a look at something, we all will. And it was just really cool how they all supported each other as guys, right? I was like, see? And he's like, and I got the courage to ask. So I just want to remind you guys, have the courage.
All right.
So what are you going to show? You're going to show the slide if we set up a time?
Mm-hmm.
You're just the slide that you were talking about, and you're going to go over each.
Yeah, the slide deck. Yeah, it goes over the company, the science. It goes over, it's a full overview. And then at the end, we talk a little bit about the timing. And then what we could do, and it just depends, you know, if you like the energy of like speaking about money like this, then we could share a little bit about how, you know, how to create $20,000 in 31 days, you know. If not, you know, you can have those conversations offline.
No,
But we
I
could-
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, I would love to have it in there actually. There's enough other stuff we can show, so I would love to have that. Yeah, as an example. All
All
right.
right.
Well, thanks so much. Then because we have Dr. Sean coming up in a few minutes, so thanks so much. And let's do Friday at 7, and let's just go for it and see what we get. And if otherwise we'll.
Oh, this is Labor Day. Yeah, no, sorry. I'm not.
Holiday.
Yeah, I
Oh,
forgot.
it's Labor Day. You're right. Oh my goodness,
I
forgot.
have company coming into town.
Oh.
Shoot. I just remembered that. Okay, so when else can we do it?
When is your company coming in town?
Thursday night, and then we're gonna be gone all day Friday. We have I totally, I forget that it was this weekend. Yeah, my sister's coming down, and we have plans to do things.
Oh, fun.
Maybe next Tuesday evening? I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, I mean, I would plug into Dr. Sean on Tuesday, right? I mean, that's what that's here for. Yeah. Maybe Sunday night or Thursday, or next way. Actually, you won't really need me next week because Amare Live is next week. So either Sunday maybe, or God, that's gonna be a lot. Yeah, maybe Sunday. I don't know. I wish we could all, and maybe we can talk about this combining into one event.
Yeah.
Because for you guys, it would be 3 in the afternoon on a Sunday, right?
Is he in Hawaii?
He is, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that might not be a bad idea. Actually, I kind of like that. If he's okay with that, but.
Why don't let's tentatively, why don't we just combine and see? I'm gonna just run it by the person real quick, just that's organizing it. But we've already talked about opening it up to the entire team, and so we were just talking about that today. So I think it'd be a good run. And then, you know, he does talk on it though, but you know, he's very inspirational, so people might resonate with that. You know, it's a good combination of different, you know, men and women talking on it.
Okay. Well,
Does that sound good?
Let's plan for that. Yeah, that sounds really good.
Okay. Let me, I'll get back to you, and I'll throw the link and the time in the thread, and then you guys can, I would love that. Yes, let's all do one and get the energy around it. Then you'll be in their energy that of people that are doing it, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Hi guys, and Andrea, just for you, I'll send you the link for the Zoom link with Dr. Sean. It's coming up as well. So if you go to annametolman.com/Amare, you will find the links all there. So I would say go to that one if you have a little bit of energy left still, because Dr. Sean is going to be great. So it's going to be good ones for you to watch too. So.
On Facebook. Thank you.
Zoom, it's like Zoom as well. So it's a Facebook.
Andrea, welcome to the team. You just have joined an amazing team. Some of my favorite humans on this Zoom. You have great mentorship. You're going to be really, really successful with these ladies.
So yes, I'm just starting to listen to everybody, just absorb it all. And like you said, I'll just push myself a little bit more quicker. I can hear it.
Awesome.
Thank you for the information.
Yeah, and it's so good seeing each and every one of you on. Thank you so much for your time, and it's just good to connect with all of you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
So long.